waiting for my turn. At each and every stop, I became a better man. Hence I'm so
And we are back again. This is Turn On, Turn Off. Who is it tonight? 2 minutes of your time. I go by the name of Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. We out here at Africa Dumi Productions. A-Swang. You can see the voice is nice, looking very clean. I'm not alone, guys. You guys have seen him everywhere. Matlala on your screens, even with the gospel vibes. We have the one and only Tumelo Matlala in the building. My brother, you good, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm actually excited to finally have you on the show.
Man, it's a pleasure, and I'm excited to be here finally.
Yeah, finally.
We've been postponing it.
But I believe, God makes things happen better for the right reason at the right time.
Yeah.
So as you know, before we dive deep into your story and everything else, you literally wear so many hats. You're an actor, you're a producer, you're a content director, and you sing as well.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, when it comes to you to the core, who is Tumelo Matlala? I know people have seen you everywhere, but want to know the story actually before you got here.
I always say, man, I'm just a storyteller. I'm just a guy who has been blessed with just an opportunity to be gifted with different ways of storytelling, like you've mentioned, singing, content directing, shows like Nyan Nyan, Speak Out, Culture Quest, acting, now presenting, so there's a lot. The opportunity that I got to learn me as a person is basically telling the story to people, So I had to find myself with what works for me and my purpose in life. I realized it's just storytelling.
And I love that you say storytelling, because with everything, the music, everything, it's a story, right? So as going back to the journey, I know from you, when you started your career, I want you to tell us, how important do you believe that church is in terms of actually creatives? Because when you're young, especially, and sometimes you don't have a lot of people that can just plug you here and here, you have to start somewhere. So what type of important role do you feel like church actually played for you to be in everything that you're doing now?
Man, with that, I thank you for that question, because for me, church is where I found my purpose. Church is where I found my calling, my reason for breathing on earth. It's a platform where I would say I got to, at the young age, got to play different characters. Ngidlala uJesu, ngidlala this week and stuff, and that made me, being an MC, youth functions and all that, that gave me confidence and made me realize this is what I actually love doing, and so that gave me a chance when I got out there, after matric, then be clear with what do I really want in life. So it's a platform, but now the problem is I only managed to find that because I was serving in church. So I always say the most important thing is basically serving in church. Then it's a chance for you to find your purpose. So it's a big platform.
And I like that you even mentioned that you actually started from there before you got into the space, because a lot of time people think, there's a lot of things happening. As you say, there's always, an opportunity for you not to even only grow spiritually, but also, with the work that you do.
True.
So as we're talking about, the music and everything else, before we dive into the acting and everything, when you released your first album, Zalwan, in 2008, how was that experience for you?
That was one experience. I remember on the day. So my situation was, I was working in a company where I was chemical engineer.
Okay.
So I was not happy. So I made a decision to say, and at that time I was a breadwinner at home. My sister had just passed away, Okay, so, but I'm grateful that when I told my mother that, I want to go and pursue what I love, she agreed on that and gave me a chance. I came to Soweto, ngahlale one room, and I got a majita sangene studio. I remember that album I recorded in about 3 days, 8 songs. 8 songs. And the first day when I saw the video on One Gospel, man, I cried. And the happiness that I saw, that was the most. I think that's what I'm moving with in the industry currently, because I realized actually this is what I should have been doing even from the earlier age. Ngingazithatheli phansi and think this is not possible to be done. So it was the most memorable experience that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, which I can imagine, because your first album is the most important, but now to get to see it on TV, and that was like the first time you actually saw your music on one gospel.
Seeing even myself on TV, hearing myself on radio, that was big for me.
And which is very beautiful, because now when we see the work that you're doing right now and everything, when you get to look back that, I started that time with my first album, and it led into me doing all of these other things. As we're talking about the music as well, I want us to dive into the acting. So for you, what was like that first role you got that made you feel like, okay, right now, the acting, I'm really operating this thing on the highest level?
And my first ever job was 2009, I think, 9. I shot it in 2008. Then it was playing 2009, which was an ad, FIFA Confederation ad. The face of the FIFA Confederation, the cup before the World Cup.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
That was basically, I think God there was just stamping to me, Mfanami, these are the possibilities. Because that was the only ad I got actually in my career. I've never got an ad after that.
That's such a big ad to get.
It was the biggest job that I've ever done. Even the cash, man, was big. It sustained me for a long time, So from there, it was basically a confirmation to say, this is something that you can live with. This is something that will sustain you in your life, and it makes you happy. Beyond the fact that seeing yourself on TV, because at that time, the excitement of TV, yes, was still there, but I had lived that life, and I was happy with that. But I think the craft, seeing from shooting and seeing the craft on screen, for me, it was that thing, you can do this thing.
True. Yeah. And that's interesting, fella, for that to be your first biggest ad, and ever since you haven't gotten any other,
I think it's also the fact that maybe I don't attend a lot of ad auditions I'm skipping a lot of auditions, and maybe I need to go back into it.
Because I know if you had to go there, a lot of people be like, no, operated. I mean, for the first ad, you got that already, and everything that you do is always on literally the highest level, right? So I want to ask you, when it comes to the music and the acting, how do you balance the two? Because I mean, when music, you have to maybe be here at this time, acting, there's scripts, there's all of that. So how would you say you balance both of them?
I think it's really overrated, the business of it. It's not really that hectic, I think it's all about managing your time. It's a career like any other person or sevens or anywhere else, but it's a case of managing it's cut, because most of the time in music, it's flexible. I can do music in the evening, I can do music, and I don't always, if I have an event, then I know after shooting, and then I have a rehearsal or before I go to advantage now, the job, the show that I'm doing now, at least I start working about 10, 11. So I can do rehearsal from 8 until 10, then guys would, and then weekend, it's where I go and perform. So it's all about time management, basically. Scheduling things, with also having the proper person who will deal with your bookings and stuff. So it's all about time management. That's why I respect time so much.
I know it myself.
I respect time so much. So for me, it's mainly on time management.
Okay, and it's very important, as you're saying, time management, because if you get late to other things, you might
then your whole day is messed up, and people look at you as you are the one who can't only because I plan my day properly. I'm a parent also, so I make sure that I'm part of my kids' life, fetching them at school, doing everything. School, they play soccer, I have to be. So I always manage things. Until this, so I need to do this. When I'm done with this one, I need to go and do this one. For me, time is very important.
Okay, that's very important. And I love that you mentioned, that you're a family man. You're making sure with your family is present, because a lot of people would think someone that's in entertainment, they're always like, these people just want to be rocking the whole time, So for you to actually mention that, I think even other viewers will see that, okay, being in entertainment doesn't always mean
it doesn't. The tricky part about it is you'll end up making everybody happy and everybody loving your craft and being rejected by the ones that you brought on earth, because most of the time our kids didn't choose the career that we chose. We end up being busy doing up and down. I mean, I was the past weekend we were up and down with my brother traveling, and I was not with my kids. So I need to make sure during the week I make time for them, and not just making time for them. My phone must be out, out of my head, and do homeworks with them, because I know with the weekends now it's even worse. They play soccer, so the league is closed. years. So I don't have that time for, so it's busy time for industry. There's a lot of events happening. We need to travel a lot. So I need to make sure during the week I make time to pay attention, because at the end of the day, if I don't do that, then I'll find them in wrong things and not realizing, because I need to monitor everything that they do. You know, kids learn from what you do than what you tell them.
Thanks. That's actually very key, because you know, a lot of times as parents you always wanna reprimand people, wanna reprimand as parents and not show them the action.
Yeah, because you must reprimand something that you've had a discussion about, because it's also a case of abandona. It's also a case of discussion with them, understanding with their mindset, what do they need. It's not always about us as parents pushing our mandate to them. We also need to understand what do they think, how do they feel, and all those things. Luckily, my I've got 2 girls and 2 boys. So the firstborns the first 2, it's girls. So I learned that from the girls. With girls, it's more attention. With boys, it's a different story. You go mad, man, with boys. But with girls, it's that I'm a qanda.
Okay, it's actually very different.
Yeah, it's very different. So luckily, that helped me to learn. Okay, I need to deal with things this way when it comes to our kids.
Okay, that's very interesting, and I hope even people are listening to what you're saying, which I want us to dive into the next segment, right? It's face or flop. I want to show you a couple of faces, and then you have to try to guess. If you get it correct, that means the face card is saying tick, everything is on point. If not, it's a flop.
Hey, sir.
So I'm gonna show you.
I hope it actually flop.
I'm gonna show you the first lady right here.
Oh yeah, the talented Nomza Mombad.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I know. At least I'm
yeah, you didn't. No. Let me show you the second face as well.
Yo, she's from the East End.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron, the international actress.
And she's very iconic as well.
Yeah, man. She's doing big things, eh?
One more person.
The legendary Rebecca Malope. I looking at this picture, this lady, when I was very young, probably at the age of 10. I think the first time I met her was at the age of 10.
10.
So I happened to be related with the late Will.
Oh, for real?
So I used to come at home, and I couldn't understand at the time. I'm a TV girl.
Rebecca is like,
so I'm like, lo mama lo, until I went to her show in Nigeria, when Pure Magic was still existing. So, hey, I look up to it. There's a lot that I respect her and love her so much.
Yo, that's actually such a very interesting story. That was the last face I was showing you. Which she got the 3 faces right.
At least you
got the 3 faces right. And that's actually interesting, because when you're mentioning right now, you're mentioning that for you, because of you are not watching TV, and TV wasn't a big thing like that at that time. You just saw her as, a normal person, but you were intrigued. You're like, okay, why is everyone at home?
Even the people, when she comes, and at that time I couldn't get to one but I knew we are cool, but everyone we are cool. Why her, until I got to be exposed to a lot of things, because tina school for TV we get the time I phone boxing boxing now late after bathing you must just go straight to bed, do homework, so it was never, we didn't know much about things that are happening in the country.
Which actually, that's very interesting. And nowadays you mentioned you guys being relatives, which means also it shows how calm and also, she was as humble as well. And as we're talking about being humble and everything, us in Mzansi, we're all about that, right? We're going to go on to a bus, we're going to take the bus stop. This bus has a South African flag, the colors, people will see right there on the screen. So I want to find out from you, before the bus leaves, you have to have people on your bus. So for you, when it comes to the people you'd have on a bus, who are the people you have to choose? Just 5 people on your bus.
Yo, only 5.
Only 5. I know you can probably make it 10, but just 5.
Yo, situation, there's only 5 people in my life.
Oh yeah, there's only
that are close, and then my friends. There's my wife and my kids.
Okay.
Bese when pincha ngidlala ngamba nayo bathi ngiyitwin like that's my life. Literally that's my life. Literally that's my life. And then there's a guy Batumandi Sefeni, he's part of our life.
Okay.
So my life is literally closed. And then my sister who Sistuli, and you know, I'm family based.
Yeah,
maybe
like
I'm
how you
boring,
been
but
saying.
I love my life that way. You know? So my life it's surrounded by really literally a close number of people.
And that's actually beautiful, and it doesn't make you boring being family.
No, it's actually safe in the industry. Because so it's I made that choice literally that people that are closer to me, it's people that I know will never backstab me. It's people that I know they want the best out of me, and I want the best out of them. You know, because in this industry, unfortunately, people, it's easy for them to back 10 years for them to climb the next ladder. You know.
Which is actually very sad when you've been mentioning that with people, they have to go through all of those things, right? I want to ask you, since we're still on the bus and we're moving, driving around, you're looking outside the window. When you look outside the window, you're there sitting now. You said the family is around. You know, sometimes you're sitting in family, but you want to just be on the side and think for 2 seconds, right? You're looking outside the window. You are one person that has been acting in so many things. You are an artist as well. But I want to ask you, when it comes to the acting, what's like the most defining role for you that you had? You were like, okay, you know that one role, I really enjoyed when we're acting actually this.
Playing the villain, man. The villain on Devon Jan. The serial killer. As SK Skumbozo. I think that role for me took out the Lord, and I also struggled to get out of the character because I had invested a lot, you know, in the character, a lot of research, a lot of emotional attachment in it. So it actually made me realize that it's important as an actor to make research. I like I said, I hang around with people. My number one close friend in the industry, Kosana Saman, and he's very one thing is is must do research, must and that character actually. I tapped into that space to say, let me do this thing that this guy always emphasizes, what I must do more. And I realized the emphasis, what you bring out of the character when you've invested your time and research about the character. So that is the most character that I enjoyed because I was calm. I enjoyed telling that story. I understood telling the story. You know, I knew the ending of the story when I started the story because I invested time into reading the story and understanding what is needed out of the character.
Okay, that's very good.
And it's a national crisis. So it was, for me, it was that thing, Uguti, I need people to understand what people go through mentally and people need help, you know. So I was telling a story that I wanted our country to get out of.
Yeah, this is actually beautiful because when you're mentioning people needing help, a lot of times, you know, we don't get to find out because everyone is always looking I'm looking at my own pocket, I'm looking at, you know, that. But I even want to ask you, as you're talking about helping people and everything, right? You actually produce shows like Speak Out, Nyanya and everything. I want to ask you, when you actually have to tap into the realm of being a producer, what are the pressures you have to deal with? How does it feel as opposed to you being an actor or the presenter?
Man, you know, that space, it's one space that I lived longer in the industry because I produced the content directing Nyanyane for almost 7 seasons, sorry.
That's fair.
Speak Out, I did a bit. Culture Quest about 4 seasons. So I realized that if it's not every episode, the second episode that I shoot, there's always GPV. There's always violence happening there. And that led me to releasing the song that I just released now, which is Essentialist. But later on, that's when I realized, this is the mandate that I need to actually work on helping people. Because what I realized is, even us as people who are working on the show, I would shoot a 3-hour episode, 3 segments, and I only need 24 minutes out of the episode. Now, mentally, when I go and edit that thing, I'm already messed up. Number one. Number two, I was struggling in a relationship. That's a situation where I was not trusting the partner because then we're shooting episode now. When I was doing this, I was actually with your friend. That child is not yours. That thing would mess my mind up. I would always check up on my partner. Where are you? Unnecessary insecurities. So I needed to get help myself. So it's a space that I realized now, actually, I only realize now, because now I'm dealing with a lot of gender-based violence situation, trying to help people with that. But I realized, even with the show that I'm doing now, either one episode and the next episode there's gender-based violence in between there. So for me, I then took it upon myself. I need to stand up and do something about the situation because clearly it's a national crisis and it's someone has to speak out about it. You know, so it's you are positioned in a place because there's something that you need to do about it. It doesn't just happen. Even us being here today is because of there's something that someone will watch this episode and be healed from something.
Facts, because with everything you're talking about GBV, because that's really such, you know, a big thing.
It's a crisis. It's a pandemic, as the president said, you know. So people need help out there.
True. And which is something I hope to see change as well as we go along. So I even want to ask you, right, with the shows that you spoke about, Babgeld and everything. So what, like, you know, emotional feeling does it give you, since you get to, you know, engage with a lot of people as well, which I can imagine for you as well, emotionally having to hear these stories and everything. Does it help you, you know, get a better understanding of a lot of people and be more understanding in situations as well?
Look, by the help of God, because every situation is different, and it's really the mindset at that time, or like I said, by the help of God, because sometimes I can shoot something and not be emotionally attached to it. You know, so it's the situation where you find yourself, Uguti, you can only do so much, you know, but you can also learn a lot from each and every situation. So for me, it's appreciating the platforms that I get, but also contributing in the positive in the platforms. Because doing Babgeld now, I realized I needed to be a parent. It doesn't mean you wouldn't be a good presenter Babgeld if you don't have kids. But my way of presenting the show now, it comes with the personal element into it, because I understand the upbringing of a child, how the importance of the upbringing, because it affects you when you're older. So hence I say, by the help of God, depending at the time that you're there, what do you see? Because there are people who, for example, for me to become a director, yes, I went to school for those things, but for me to get an opportunity, I was in a space, and when researchers at the time, I was a researcher, when researchers, after shooting before I would sit with the guys and the director and say, why did you make that decision? Even when they edit, I would spend more time with the person and learn until I got an opportunity to say, no man, we were traveling in Durban and the director who had a crisis, needed to leave. And I was trusted with one episode led to 4 episodes, leading to be appointed to the young child. So it's all about when you find an opportunity, how do you utilize it?
Okay, that's actually very, you know, interesting, as you even mentioned in your story how you actually, you know, were not gonna be there, but because of your consistency of always being like, okay, I want to learn so many things. Because a lot of times as people, we actually neglect those things. We'll be like, okay, you know, this person is saying this, I don't even want to learn and actually see the whole background of the whole thing as well.
We grow by learning.
So you took it upon yourself and actually did that, which I even want to find out from you, as you're talking about learning and everything. I want you to tell us about your most recent job as well, and what inspired even the title as well.
This is actually my most recent job. I wrote the song 2022 before I went to Durban, because I shot Durban Jan 2022. But when I was about to release the song, unfortunately, not fortunately, I got a job alone, so I wouldn't be able to market Durban Joburg. A lot of things were happening in between, so I postponed it up until this year. When I got an opportunity. I mean, last year when I got an opportunity to Babgeld, I'm on the 3rd season now. So I realized, like I said, this thing is following me, and I have a content, something that I've written at home that I need to voice out about this thing as a man, because a crisis at GPV in our country, because the song says this, bayakalo mama, bayakalo sis, yakhalingani, uthini kuwena, mawumbekisandla umbone enganamandla. As a man, you know, the song speaks about that. So for me, it's mainly on, sometimes you just need that trigger to realize. I don't think anyone wakes up and decide, I'm going to be abusive. There's always something triggering the person. I'm not making an excuses for men or for anyone, but always that person needs help themselves. Because it's not in the nature of a person to be abusive.
Yeah, you can't.
It's either that upbringing was bad, it's either this person had experienced something. So those people need help and they need a trigger to be reminded to say, hey, Mamela, it's wrong. You know, because sometimes they've never been told. They think,
Okay.
you know, it's always a situation of helping someone for them to realize, I need help too.
So I want to ask you, my brother, you know, you've been dropping a whole lot of gems and everything else. What advice would you have for someone out there that would actually love to see themselves in your position, that look up to you as well?
My man, I would just say, be real to yourself. You know, be yourself in everything that you do. Don't try to copy someone else. Don't try to be because when you are real, you basically portray and take out. People receive you as you, and people will always appreciate something that is unique. But if that it's a copycat of something else, then it's not gonna impact. It can impact at that time, but it's not gonna sustain. But if you're yourself, then you sustain, you know, and be patient. It's very important to be patient because everything happens at God's time. We can never fast forward things.
Actually, you know, as people, we're always in a rush, wanting just to operate and be everywhere.
No, God, it's always God's timing. It's perfect.
Yeah, true. You know, which I really appreciate you, my brother, coming through today. You know, it's been such an honor to have you in studio. You've been dropping so many gems. You've been dropping a whole lot of things that I myself didn't know, even with the viewers as well watching today. I want to say thank you so much, my brother. Appreciate it a lot. And to everyone else that is watching, this is Turn On, Turn Off. I go by the name of Tatted. As you guys can see, I wasn't alone. We had Tumelo Matlala in the building. We out here at Africa Dumi Productions. A-Swang, we looking good. Go like, subscribe, and we are out.
Waiting for my turn.